had something for our open today and I forgot already.
In other news, fuckboy streamers.
What's up?
Let's talk about him and hear from him. It's us.
No, it's not us.
Checking in. No, we're not fuckboy streamers. We're streamers who fuck boys. It's different.
I'm out.
I'm thoroughly not doing that. I stick to men.
Oh, fair.
I'm not a clergy member of some kind.
Man, that stash is really hitting hard, Wes.
Hey, man, boys will be boys.
I don't want any of this to be in our cold open.
Today on the Life Midwest podcast, grooming minors. Are you?
I saw one of my favorite TikToks I've seen in the past week is this guy, and he's like, today is my first day as a dog groomer. Let's see how this goes. And then it cuts to him petting a dog, and he's like, you're very mature for your age. Anyways.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're tuning in from across the country and around the world. This is the Life Midwest podcast. Welcome to episode 91, everybody. Hey, join a washed-up musician, a communications major, and an Army veteran, all hailing from the Midwest originally, as we talk about life and events that are both current and events. Here to carry out that show, I'm your host, Kevin Palmer. We got our Thai stash correspondent, Wes Shirley, everybody.
Howdy.
And the man who is taking a break from the Stanley Cup playoffs with his beard, joining us from Tacoma, Washington, Lenny Wells.
Bit of ASMR for our listeners.
Discord almost picked it up.
Damn it!
See, we just have so much more fun than.
Let me try to recreate it real quick.
I don't know what that was, but that's getting zoomed in on.
Yes.
Not the kind of thing Wes wanted you to put near your mouth, but.
Well, he'll have to behave for that.
Oh.
Yeah, you gotta wine and dine him first.
Got me a challenge.
See, this is this is what I want to talk about this week. We're a bunch of fun young gentlemen who wine and dine each other before we get to the nitty gritty.
Bold claim.
Is there a story that you want to tell us?
Oh no, I just wouldn't classify us as necessarily young anymore.
Or fine.
Oh, I mean, I would classify myself as fine.
Can we define fine? Because, do we mean attractive or do we mean, upstanding?
Anyways, Kevin, what are we talking about this week?
We're talking about men who are not fine and upstanding citizens of the world. Okay, all right. So let me back this up. So I was on Twitter. I was on Twitter last week, and this person I'm a very big fan of, Alana Pierce, who you should check her out. She is a writer for Sony, and used to work for IGN, and she's very deeply involved in the video game industry, and occasionally streams on Twitch, etc., etc. She retweeted a video that I'm gonna replay the audio from, and Wes is gonna do some magical producing here and cut right to the part where I played the audio from the video.
Let's take you, for example, and me, and we both pull up and we go to your girl. Odds are I'm gonna take that bitch. If you compared me to you, you're not gonna win that battle. So the next time you think that your girl's on lock, I got the keys to the castle, motherfucker.
That dude's never been laid in his life.
Obviously, them are fighting words. Oh, you should see his face. He's got the Great Clips haircut. The Great Clips special with the $5 coupon haircut. So
he talks about pulling up in a Maserati or some dumb shit.
McLaren.
Yeah.
So Alana retweets this and goes, This new wave of podcasting beta men continuing to just not get it. No woman cares if you have a McLaren, okay? The literal only thing that matters to girls is if you have a platinum trophy for knack 2. Which, whatever. If you know what knack 2 is, cool. If you don't, whatever. You still get the reference and you still get the joke. So it inspired this, like, there is this portion of TikTok that I was on at one point when, like, TikTok was still figuring out the algorithm. And it still occasionally bleeds into my For You feed, where it's a bunch of douches who somehow crowdfunded 5 to 10K to get themselves a professional studio room where they sit on couches and just jack each other off for, an hour a week. And it's like, I know that I've made that joke about how we do that, like being in an echo chamber about like politics or whatever, but I'm talking about like this specific, like what's his name? Logan,
Logan Paul.
yeah. Where it's like they have like Riley Reid on, this like, or like some other big porn name, and they're like, oh, what's the biggest dick you've deep throated? And that's like, that's content apparently. Like, it really irritates the fuck out of me. And so I wanted to take an episode for this week and just literally, I understand that it gets views, it gets ratings. There's people who like it. There's creeps who like listening to those kinds of like, stories or whatever of like sex workers. Like, it's different. I'm not shaming sex workers, right? I'm not sitting here saying like, oh, people shouldn't do that. I promote, anyone's choice to be able to go into any industry they want. What I'm saying is that they don't have a conversation about feminism and the power that the woman has in that scenario. They're using it for their own gain and their own, literally what I would call like mental masturbation. And it bothers the shit out of me. And so this week's episode is called Brocasts, and how much I fucking hate brocasts.
Bruh.
Yeah. So, well, I think there's just like, I think it boils more down to like influencer culture. Because like you see a lot of this like out of people that just are influencers. Like you talk about Logan Paul specifically, like that's how he got his start, was just like one doing like really shitty YouTube videos, and it's turned into like this influencer and wannabe athlete, right?
Yeah.
Isn't he
And
from Ohio?
I don't know where the fuck he's
I'm
from.
pretty sure he's from Ohio, the Midwest.
Look, we don't need that. We don't need to claim that, right? But like, the unfortunate part is that like broke they may be, but like we'll just continue using Logan Paul as an example. He's really smart about his business, which infuriates me to no end.
Mhm.
Right. But like, I think it just boils down to like an inherent lack of like maturity about it. Because like to your example about like having like a porn star on, I'll give you an example where I think this was done right. One of my favorite podcasts I listen to is Two Bears One Cave, and it's for those who don't know or whatever, it's just a refresher. Two comedians, Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer.
I fucking love Tom Segura.
Yeah, it's a great podcast. They had Adriana Chechik on a couple weeks ago, and like, they were talking to her about like just the porn industry kind of more generally, and it wasn't, they didn't set out to talk about like feminism or like the power of a woman or whatever, but like because they've been around for so long, they're in their like 50s, I think almost 60. They know how to have like a grown up mature conversation about these topics. And it's just, I don't know, it doesn't make any sense. Like there are people that do this are obviously not secure about themselves, right?
Right.
I mean, like, that's just like the vibe I get from it. Like, oh, okay, you probably have like a really tiny wiener and are scared to like let people know about it. Whereas like, I don't give a shit. Yeah, I'm a grower, not a shower, and it's like this right now. um, it's just, I hope it's like doesn't become, I don't know, like the norm.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It does feel kind of weird, like talking about it because, like, we're doing this, um, but like, obviously we're not going down that path. So I don't know.
Exactly, and I think that's the differentiating factor. Is and I'm not saying that like, oh, we're so much better and we're so, but it's like it's just like to like my personal opinion is that it annoys the fuck out of me, and my professional opinion is why does that, like, let's dissect this. Why is this so fascinating to people? Wes, your thoughts?
Mm, my thoughts are probably a bit skewed by the fact that I safely live in like a shelter away from all of this. Like, I don't use the internet for anything other than like information and then doing a podcast and like chatting with people. When I watch this, like, I don't listen to podcasts in general except for like the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe, and I don't even listen to that much anymore. And that's just about like science and skepticism. But like, I guess I know who Logan Paul is because he was collecting like alpha Pokemon cards there for a while, and I do play Pokemon and collect Pokemon. But like, that's all I think. Maybe also he did something with Japan. So like, when my interests are hit, I hear about these people, but like, I safely avoid all of it. Not because I'm like, oh, I'm better than that. It's just because it doesn't interest me. I was that like edgy, stupid, fucking like immature man child up until like, I don't know, mid-20s or some shit. Probably like most dudes. And maybe that's where the appeal comes from. It's just young dudes listening to this shit. And they're like, oh, famous equals status. Status equals influence. I should aim to be like them. Kind of just like in any society, when you have talking heads on televisions, on computers, on whatever, the more impressionable folks strive to be like that. So then they post cringe content of like, yo, I'm gonna fuck yo bitch, but like, they look like idiots.
No, I mean you've probably like really touched on something there, because like it's like in the same vein as like that fucking Andrew Tate piece of shit. Like those same people that are like making, that Alana talked about in her tweet, are probably the same people that were like getting scammed out of hundreds of dollars by this fucking goon, right? So,
Mhm.
um, I think there is something to be said for like young impressionable guys, that need or like want like some sort of direction or like a goal to chase, and maybe like without like trying to be like too ironic, like that like our society has not given these men something to like a healthy goal to strive for, um but I don't think that's like a new problem.
Mhm.
I feel like society has always given men, and this is, I don't want this to be like a men's health or like men's awareness thing, especially since we're in like women's month. um but like, anyways, getting back to the point, I feel like that um unhealthy standards for, like I said, both women and men have been always been perpetuated, and that's all your people are ever really going to see. It's just, what does that quote unquote standard look like for any given time period? And for, I think for ours right now, that standard is douchebag bro guys.
That's a really interesting thing that you touched on as far as the goalless men. Uh, like
Because like, what was it, like 3 to 5 years ago, like there was like that whole like red pill movement that was like getting some pretty serious steam, and now it's widely regarded as a joke, or like incels, things like that. Those are all like directionless men, that feel, and the reason they're directionless is because they have like this standard, this goal, this appeal, whatever you want to call it, that society says men should have or men should be, um, and when they can't meet that, whether it's because you know our chance, they're just born into the wrong socioeconomic thing, genetics just didn't favor them, or some combination thereof. Now they're like, well, it's everybody else's fault and not mine. It just feels like the same thing because I mean, like, again, let's to reference that video that kind of spurred this whole conversation. The guy in that video, look, and I don't mean any offense to him, but he's not exactly fucking Brad Pitt. He looks like a regular cringy dude, you know?
Yeah.
So, and that's, again, where that idea of, well, if I have X, Y, and Z, then I'm successful. So if I have a McLaren, then no woman, or to use his term, bitch, is they're all fair game, right? Which it's toxic. I
Yeah.
don't want to like be a cliche, toxic masculinity, but that's what it is.
It is. It is. Yeah.
Sorry, I went on a little rant there.
No, that's all right. That's all right. I personally have a compass and a direction, and it's my Sony weekly PlayStation emails telling me what to download and play. Coming up on the other side of the break, when we come back, Dillian Harper is going to join us, so stick around. Welcome back to the Life Midwest podcast. On the other side of the break, it's your host Kevin Palmer, Lenny Wells, and Wes Shirley. Hey, if you're looking for ways to support us, we do have a plethora of ways to do so. We do have a PayPal that's live at paypal.me/thelifemidwest. You can also reach out to us on any of our major social platforms at The Life Midwest. We also have a website at thelifemidwest.com. You can also email us at support@thelifemidwest.com. But the best and easiest and most free way to support us, I'm assuming Lenny is pointing at, is going to be to leave a review on your favorite listening platform. Yes, he's doing the flight attendant thing. I like that. We should do that every episode. I like that.
Okay.
He's like, okay, fine. Wes brought up a really interesting point over the break, and I kind of want to branch out from the Brocasts topic as far as this whole what essentially this boils down to is toxic masculinity and how we deal with it as a society and how we respond to it, but also where it comes from, how it manifests, and maybe not all of those things in particular, but just the general discussion about it. Before we go any further, I just wanted to see if you guys had anything that you wanted to add to the conversation of broadcasting and all that good stuff.
The kind of thing, one of the things we talked about a lot is that this kind of stems from not feeling like there's any worth or value into like how these people feel. And the easiest way to do that is to just improve yourself, right? Who's gonna want to hang out with somebody whose entire personality is, fuck bitches, I'm the best there is, when you're not. That's just be real with the situation. If you're one of those, if someone out there listening to this right now feels like, oh well, nobody loves me because like I'm ugly or because like I'm fat, there's people out there that do find you attractive, I promise you, because if that wasn't true, your parents wouldn't have gotten together and made you. But if you still feel that way, work out. You don't have to go to a gym to work out. You can walk around your neighborhood, you can run, you can, there's a lot of calisthenic exercises that you can do just with your own body weight that will help you improve.
I like what you're saying. It essentially boils down to, instead of projecting your insecurities, do something about them.
Think about what you find attractive in a woman if you're a guy, and if you're a femcel, think what you find attractive in a guy outside of physical appearance, right? Like, I think a woman who can cook is really a good skill. I think like, wow, that's talent. A woman who can like teach, a woman who has a valuable skill, I find that attractive. So if I have no skills, but the people I find attractive have skills, maybe I should try to match that energy. You know, like why would someone settle for me if I'm this bitter person who hates women and doesn't have any skills? I sit at a computer and rage all day. That's my skill. That's probably just feeding into the displeasure and discomfort one might feel. Just a thought.
No,
No,
I
I
mean,
like it.
yeah, it's a really good thought. Look, I don't want to like throw stones in glass houses sort of deal. So I'll just be like completely honest. Like for a long time, through my late teens and like mid 20s, I felt kind of the same way as like some of these people are now, right? Like when like going through high school, I was not what people considered attractive. I was like that. I was like kind of a loser, kind of an outcast. I thought all these horrible things about myself. Um, Now I think different horrible things about myself, but it's not that sort of incel stuff. What are some like ways that you guys think something that like whether it's like a piece of like self-help advice or like maybe like a resource to look at that could like maybe help people, not just men specifically, but anybody that kind of feels this way.
I go first.
Mm.
Therapy. And I say that because there is such a fucking stigma around it, and it's these people and it's exactly I'm exactly talking to these people who think they're too tough for therapy. Do it. Give it like go in there, find someone who you feel like is gonna gel with you based on their experience and their specialties, and go for like 2 or 3 sessions. Just fucking try it. All right,
No,
because you're going to learn things about yourself. You're going to
you're
learn things. Go ahead.
sorry. No. I just want to say I 100% agree with you. And like, what stopped me from going for like the longest time was like I knew that like what my problems were, and I knew that I had them. So I was like, well, therapy is not going to benefit me because I'm not discovering something new. But you're 100% right.
Right.
People should go to therapy.
Right. And it's not always about the discovery of the problem. Sometimes it's about the why. And when you can tackle and find out the why, that can be very revealing. And you end up getting to this point of like, holy shit, like this is how it's affecting me now, and it makes you aware of it, and you're like, okay, now I'm aware of it, now I can make that change. And I just even if it's not always about being fucking wrong. Sometimes you just need someone to talk to work shit out mentally and just work out a thought process. The problem is that people don't go to therapy until they already are broken. People go to therapy because of people who don't go to therapy, and unfortunately those people need to give therapy a shot. That's all I'm going to say. Wes?
One of the things I was going to suggest is akin to therapy. Basically, introspection. Like, so if you're not ready for therapy, if you're not ready to externalize your issues with another person, you have to actually think about what is causing these issues you're having. The first one would be remove your ego from the situation. I'm not too tough for this. I'm not too manly for this. No one's going to give a fuck that you're sitting in your room crying if you actually do that. That's good. That's good self-improvement. If you're able to break yourself down to the point where you're crying, like I know grown-ass men who's like, I haven't cried since I was a child. I'm like, well, that's why you fucking act like that.
That's terrible. That's horrible. The longer it's been since your last cry, I feel like the worse off you are.
I feel like you probably scream at people more if you haven't cried in a long time.
I'm 40. All right, continue.
I can't recall the last time I've cried, but it wasn't too damn long ago. Like if you're just really feeling down in the dumps and you're like, okay, why do I feel this way? And you really start thinking about those things, it's just going to happen. So my advice isn't to cry. My advice is to introspect, remove your ego from the situation, and really get evidence, think, empirically study why the hell you're feeling the way you're feeling. The more you contemplate the negative things that are plaguing you, the more they come to the surface, the more you're willing to talk with them. And then maybe your next step is seeking therapy or talking with a close friend or a family member. The world's not out to get you. It may seem like it is. And sometimes the world is really unfair, but really you're your biggest obstacle. You're your biggest trouble most of the time, guaranteed.
I kind of want to like piggyback on your introspection thing. introspection does work, but it only works to a point. Because eventually, like what's gonna as far as like introspection versus therapy, they work to accomplish the same thing, but like one's like a precursor step to the other, right? So introspection will get you so far before therapy, but if you take that too far, you can end up just spiraling.
Well said. Well said.
One of the something out there for those of you, there is a individual whose I will bring up, and with the power of editing, it'll make it look like I was here the whole time. His name is Ryan Holiday. He's an author, and he runs a couple different Instagram accounts. The main one of which two, I guess, are the Daily Stoic and the Daily Dad. So if you're a parent and you need a little bit of advice, the Daily Dad is like a newsletter. I wouldn't really call it a newsletter. Basically, like once a day, you'll get like a little discussion post that has some peer-reviewed studies in it. Daily Stoic just talks about the philosophy of Stoicism, which is discipline, consistency, things like that. Something that'll just is a really good starting point if you want somewhere to start.
Cool.
So a lot of his books are really good as well. I would highly recommend them.
Cool. I got an iPad. I can download some books.
Yep, most people can probably do that if they're listening to this podcast.
And you too can not only prevent forest fires, but becoming a part of a broadcast. Folks, it's been a lot of fun talking about this. Before we go to the shout outs, Wes, do we have time for learning less with Ty today?
Sure, we can do a quick one. So I thought about it ahead of time this time, so no magic editing to put this one together. We're just going right into it. Thanks, I know.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm going to do today words that sound like English words that are Thai words. So the word for cold, like if you're cold, is now, which sounds like now. So when Yui, my wife, says now, like she's saying I'm cold, and I'll be like, no, later. And she'll be like, huh? Because she'll be like, now. I'm like, no, you're later, whatever. So yeah, if you're cold, it's now. Again, Thai is tonal, so I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but you know how it sounds roughly. Another one is suck. So suck in English, we know what suck means. Yeah. But in Thai, it is to clean. So like to wash laundry. So like suck pa is to wash laundry. I'm kind of just an asshole in general. So like when someone asks me too many questions, I might just be like, suck dicks, like shut up. Like, so if someone keeps asking me too many questions, like mainly my wife, I'll be like, suck hum. And she's like, I'm not washing a penis. What do you mean? I'm like, that's not what that means. Stop it. Some other ones are in different languages. So in the Japanese Thai ones are really funny. So ham in Japanese comes from the English word for ham, but it's hamu, like Hamu, because all of their consonants are paired with a vowel. So hamu. But we've used both of these words on the podcast Learning Thai already. Ham is like the northern word for penis, and mu is the Thai word for pig. So hamu is like pig dick.
So if you say suck hamu, you're saying wash pig dick.
Yeah, pretty much.
Folks, we have our first full sentence.
And then the last one is also a Japanese one. So scary in Japanese is kawaii. Like, oh my god, that's scary. Kawaii. Well, koi in Thai is like a really bad word for penis. I guess it's like, I don't know if you say it like it's a penis. It'd be like saying cock or dick or like just something grotesque for male genitalia. But like it holds like the weight of the word fuck. So like I speak Japanese with Yui sometimes, and we do it in front of her family, and Yui said something, and I'm like, oh, kawaii. And they all look like, oh, why do you say that word? And she's like, no. It means scary in Japanese, not cock.
It's funny. You're saying say it again. Kawaii.
Hawaii.
Is it like just like if you would spell it phonetical, would it be like the word koi, like koi fish, but it's just pronounced differently?
It's like kuoi, but like with tonal kuoi. But also there's kwai, which means water buffalo, but it's also their word for stupid. If you call someone kwai, you're calling them an idiot or stupid. Which so like koi and kwai also sound like kawaii. So if you say it real quick, people in Thai will hear like, the hell? What'd you call me?
And then there's also kawaii,
Yeah, kawaii.
which is
Kind of like kwai.
right. It's so close, but in Japan and Korea, at minimum, those two countries, it means cute.
Is it the same word in Korea?
I've heard it used in Korean, yeah. Kawaii.
And then there's the island of Kauai in Hawaii.
I don't even know if we've come full circle at this point. But it's
And
been
that's our
fun. It's
show,
been
folks.
real fun. It's time to go to the shout outs. Lenny, what do you got for us this week? I'm assuming you're going to shout out your hilarious wife.
Well, yeah, I would always shout out my beautiful, wonderful wife, Brittany, who's supposed to be sleeping right now. I don't know. Hopefully, I haven't kept her awake. But yeah, anyways, shout out to Brittany. You're the best. Well, just shout out y'all because you guys did create the idea for this not Brocasts because you guys are bros. We're all bros together, but we're not like bro. Anyways, I'm gonna stop now. Want to shout out Alana Pierce for she basically gave us the topic for this week. So
big ups.
Yeah, shout out to you. Fantastic job. Keep doing what you're doing as far as the gaming journalism space. And I want to shout out Learning West with Ty because it's fantastic. It's one of my favorite like parts of the podcast is Learning West with Ty. I can't wait to see the super cut eventually of all the Learning West with Ties.
It's just going to be a string of profanity.
And that's what makes it amazing.
Wes, how about you?
Gonna give a shout out to my beautiful wife Yui for taking me to a market today, which was a fucking crazy experience. Thai markets are wild. Also for teaching me all these Thai words that I feed to our listeners and co-host on a weekly basis. And shout out to dudes, to men, to bros, to guys. There are societal pressures, of course, but there's nothing that we can't overcome. A little bit of empowerment there. And then shout out to all the women who are subjects of dude bros and fucking incels. There are femcels too, so shout out to dudes who are subject to femcels. Shout out to mothers, because we do that here on the podcast. And shout out to you too, because I had a wonderful conversation today with both of you. And I think this was one of our more constructive episodes. I think we generally do well-informed episodes, but this one, this helps everyone. This isn't just for us.
This is for the bros. Want to shout out my amazing and wonderfully funny and beautiful future wife, Ashley. Really appreciate you and really love you. And I know these guys have a lot of love for you too. So hopefully I'm not a dude bro in your eyes. I'm just a dude.
I feel like if you were a dude bro in Ashley's eyes, you guys wouldn't be together. So I think you're safe.
I think I'm safe too. Yeah.
Just don't
want to shout out mental health and the resources that are available to you out there without you needing to go and be an incel and just push yourself to be better. Just want to do better. Have that hope. And on that note, we're gonna exit with some really intense NF. No, I'm just kidding. There's a song I listened to called Hope. If you guys haven't heard it yet, it's really fucking good. But whether you're at the gym or need a little bit of a self kick in the ass, it's a great song. Check it out. Folks, don't forget to leave us a review on your favorite listening platform, and check out the website, check out the socials, email us. Lenny really wants people to talk to.
I'm so lonely on the internet.
Gotta get
I'm
more
sorry.
bitches, dude. Gotta get more bitches.
Yeah, gotta get that McLaren, bro.
How dare you? We just went over this.
We just talked about this.
Just talked about it.
All right, folks. We'll see you next Saturday and every Saturday here on the Life Midwest podcast. Take care. Call your mom. Tell someone you love them, and have a good one. We'll see you later.
Later, nerds. I'm off to fuck some bitches.